stream, we're following up on um, yesterday's stream. Uh, so like, here's some like here's a 1,000 liter IBC tote, right? The tote for water storage. Like you can fill these up with water. You can get them. Like most places will have them for. You don't want to buy them new, right? You want to buy them from like Craigslist or something like that. But they'll have a cage, right? They'll have a protective cage. You'll have like a soft container, and then you'll have like a specific valve that then you can get adapters to adapt it to garden hoses or whatever you want to do. You can make automated watering systems. You can go as simple as you want, as hardcore as you want. For watering, a lot of people they'll try to do drip irrigation, and I found that drip irrigation is not as great as like like if you use an actual sprinkler and then just account for the water loss and use extra water. Use like the old ratchet sprinklers where it's like all metal bodies. That's probably the best way, in my opinion, because it's so robust to water crops and shit. Other stuff that's really useful. So like if you're actually doing this shit, with fucking chickens all over the place and animals, like you're gonna have constant problems with rats and mice, and that's just like and skunks. So like how I set up my chicken cage, like I give them like tons of space. I give them tons of space and they hang out in here. Like right now they're doing a dust bath, and they'll do that during the summer when it's hot to keep cool. They'll burrow under the ground, but they'll also do it to bathe themselves, right? And like this layer down here, like this is all like processing. Like all this, like if I go down here, you're gonna just watch the hay and feces decompose until it just becomes like heavy black mulch basically. And if you didn't know this, like chicken poo is highly nitrogenized, so it'll burn. Like you want to mix it with carbon-based organic material so that it breaks down the fucking nitrogen, because if you have too high nitrogen, it'll burn your plants. So like you don't want to use chicken poo directly on your plants all over the place. So this is the door. This is like my chicken hatch. If you'll notice, it's like several feet off the ground, and the reason for that. And then I put a ledge on the outside. So you see that ledge? So like the chickens use it as a landing pad, and they have to jump up to get onto it. But if you have, most of your predators that are going to get your chickens are going to be like skunks and badgers and shit like that, generally. And they'll, like I've had several skunks that will get in here, and the way that they get in here, like this is totally caged off, and then I have wire embedded into the ground all along the perimeter. But they'll still burrow under. Sometimes, like if you get a really smart skunk, they'll fucking burrow in there. Now, once you get a skunk, like if you get a skunk in your hen house, what'll happen? Like I used to keep a poo board over here, leaning up against the wall, and what happened was like a skunk burrowed under, and then during the daytime, because they're nocturnal, they would sleep underneath the board. So like you would know that a skunk was in here because you could tell, because you could like smell them, and you could like the chickens started acting funny, like they won't sleep well, right? Now, to keep your chickens from dying, like this bar right here where they sleep was just like 2x4s. That's like they'll hang out on that during the day, but they won't sleep on that, right? Because it's not as safe. They go up here. It's like all my chickens sleep up there. So like if you'll notice, there's like considerable distance. So like a skunk can be in here at night, can raid and like walk around. They will walk around. They'll go up to like where their egg boxes are and try to find them. But as long as they're sleeping up here, they won't get eaten. But if you have them low on the ground, the skunks will literally like chew their heads off and kill them, And so, and if you do get a skunk, there's different ways that you can handle it, right? Like the first time that I found a skunk that came in here, I shot him, because that's, it's weird when you have a skunk, you're like freaked out, you don't know what to do. So you're like, well, I guess I shoot the skunk. If you shoot the skunk, it's going to release all of its spray within about, it takes about 30 seconds to 1 minute. They're going to release it all. And it's extremely putrid and strong. It's almost like CS gas or something. So you don't want to do that. So like if you get a skunk in here, what you would do, like the second time that I got a skunk, I learned from my mistake of like shooting it. And you just take wood or whatever, and then you make like a corral going out your door or whatever. Then you come in and you do something to like make it get up, and then you know motivate it to move, and then it's just gonna go through the corral and it'll just go outside. And that's the way to do it. Because if you do that and you don't get too crazy on waking the skunk up, then he won't release his spray and he'll just walk out. So that's the way to do it. Other shit that's handy are like fake owls, right? Because if you use a fake owl, you won't get as many birds. Because you'll get birds flying right the fuck through your opening. Okay. For your feed and shit, because of the rats and the mice, like this is just like an old ass fridge. You know, it doesn't, obviously there's no power. You just fill this up with like all your shit that you don't want rats and mice to get into.